I keep getting asked the same question time and time again. Why has my engagement on Instagram dropped? Now, I'm sorry to break it to you, chances are it's something you're doing or something you're not doing, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with Instagram or the algorithm itself. So in this video, I'm going to cover 5 reasons why you're either doing or not doing something and how that's affecting your engagement. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, the place to learn how to build your influence, your income and a community on social media. Now today, let's jump straight into the video with point 1, which is you're too repetitive. Believe it or not, being too repetitive can be a blessing, but it can also be a sin. Now the reason it's good to be repetitive is because quite simply, it just builds up your brand. It builds up that ability for people to recognize your content and you in the sea of noise is so prevalent on Instagram right now. So being repetitive is good to build your brand, but it's bad because it can become boring over time. Now, let's say you're producing content, but it's the same content that you've been producing for the last year. You're going to be very lucky to be experiencing the same amount of growth or the same amount of engagement as you was, or at the same rate when you first started. Now that's just quite simple because people get bored. People get bored of the same topics, the same visuals, the same person, all the time talking about the same thing. So you just have to switch it up. Rather than just doing the same thing all the time, try and switch it up. Maybe switch up your visual, try something new. Maybe try talking about new topics, new content ideas. Or one of the best things you can do is put yourself and more of your personality and your experiences into your content, because that makes it unique. And every time you can talk about the same topic, but if you can put a different spin on it, a different story, a different personal experience on it, it makes it completely unique and completely fresh. It's okay to talk about the same ideas, but just try and come at it from a different angle. And if you can do that and also bring a new visual that's still consistent with your brand, you won't be repetitive and you won't become boring, and your engagement should remain the same or also grow over time. Point 2 are trends. Now trends come and go all the time on Instagram. Things like Instagram Reels, viral memes, or maybe it's just a change in the way the community works. But trends can come and they can completely change the direction of a community and or a niche. This is something you have to be aware of. When trends come, if you're able to actually jump on that trend, if you're able to do it in a way that suits your brand, that fits your message and is comfortable for you, that's going to positively improve your engagement. But if you jump on a trend and you're not comfortable doing it, you're just doing it for the sake of it, it doesn't fit your brand, doesn't fit your message, then that can negatively affect your engagement. So let's take, for example, the introduction of Reels on Instagram. Most people are using them because they understand they're being pushed everywhere. They're on hashtags, they're on Explore, they're on your feed, they're being pushed everywhere. But the issue people are facing is they're jumping on this trend, but they don't know how to use it properly, or they're not comfortable producing video content. And what happens is that affects their engagement negatively, and it causes it to drop because people aren't engaged with your content as much. They don't want to see that type of content from you. They're not enjoying it, so they won't be showing your content as often. And it's a constant cycle which drops your engagement over time. So trends are good only if you can use them to your advantage and if they fit your message, but they're bad if you can't use them to fit your message, if you're not comfortable and you're not good at whatever that trend actually is. Point 3 is content fatigue. Naturally, what happens over time when people talk about the same topics, the same ideas time and time again, it just gets boring. People don't really want to see that. And when that happens, if you're one of those people that keeps talking about the same thing over and over again, people won't engage as often or engage as much as you would want them to. And naturally, as that happens again and again, your engagement will drop. Now, one way to get around this is to start being a bit more opinionated, start to be a bit more polarizing in your content. Now, you're not going to be offensive, you're not going to start being hateful on others, but what you are going to do is have a very clear opinion of what you believe in, and you're going to tell everyone about that. Now, what this does is it's going to split your followers into 2 camps, those who agree and those who don't agree. This is not an issue. This is a good thing because what it does is it creates debate. People are going to comment on your post whether they agree or not agree, and they're going to put their point across. And what happens is you create a debate within the comments of your posts. You get people sharing it who agree with it, people share with it who don't agree with it. And just doing that, just creating a topic, an idea, creating a discussion around it can really help to boost your engagement and sometimes can push that post to go viral. So don't just sit on the fence with your ideas. Be opinionated, pick a side. Don't be afraid if people aren't going to agree with you, because debate, being able to create debate on your posts, is one of the best ways to drive more engagement. If you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please also drop a like and also comment. I want to know, do you agree with what I'm saying so far? And do you know of any way, apart from the algorithm, to boost your engagement on Instagram? Drop a comment and let me know. Point 4 is your engagement. Now, on social media or on Instagram or any other platform, the game is exposure. If you can get more exposure, you can get more profile visits, more follows, and naturally more engagement. So what happens is when you yourself do less engagement, you get less exposure. And that's just a constant cycle. When you do less, if you post less, if you do less engagement, or whatever it might be, you get less exposure and then everything else drops with it. So if you're trying to increase your engagement, then one of the best ways to do that is to just engage more. It's to go out there and reach out to new people. It's to go out there and comment on other people's posts. It's to do all this extra work to build up your engagement. Naturally, what happens is people like to reciprocate what they get, and you should do that too. Anyone who comments on your posts, go and comment on their posts. Build up that reciprocity, so over time, if you're getting 10 new people every day comment on your posts, if you give back to them, that 10 people becomes 20 new people, becomes 30 new people, 40, 50, and so on. You can quickly see how just being reciprocal in the engagement you receive can quickly build up your engagement over time and help your content reach new people. Point 5 is breaking guidelines. Now, not too long ago, there's an article that Instagram released, and they explained how they've actually been shadow banning people. Now, they didn't use those words, they didn't say shadow ban, but that's essentially what they admitted to doing. What they said was that people who break their guidelines, whether that's community guidelines or content guidelines, they actually reduce the reach of those accounts. So some sort of guidelines might be like using foul language, using explicit content, and other things like this, which break the guidelines that Instagram set out. So naturally, the only way to get around this is to play by the rules. So if your engagement is dropped and you just can't think of any reason why, have a look into the guidelines and see if you're breaking any. You might be surprised that you actually might be breaking some of those guidelines. So just using one swear word, using one piece of foul language, even that's in the content itself, not even in a caption, that can actually make an impact. So be very careful of what you're doing. Check out the guidelines, make sure you stick to them, and you shouldn't see a drop in engagement because of this reason. Naturally, over the lifetime of your page, your engagement is going to go up and down, and that's just something that you just don't have control over. But what you shouldn't do is just simply blame Instagram for all of your problems and all of your mistakes. Always analyze yourself first, see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong, see what you've done in the past, where you can improve, and that's the best way to go about things. Don't just blame Instagram for the sake of it. But also remember that if your engagement drops, don't worry too much. Maybe getting a few less likes. Maybe you're getting a few less comments. Does it really affect you that much? So what? Let it go and understand that engagement doesn't define who you are, doesn't define your page. Okay? Keep doing what you're doing, forget about engagement sometimes, and just stay consistent. And those things, these vanity metrics in some way, they'll just naturally increase over time as long as you keep doing what you're doing. Alright, so that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.